Good afternoon and welcome to Lunchtime Leadership. My name is Kevin Britz. My beautiful co-host Naomi Person, as always. Naomi, how are you doing?
Hello, Kevin. Very well, thank you. Welcome to it. So it's so good to be back here. Had some visitors from Gauteng in Cape Town, and I feel the pain. It's just always so nice to see people and spending time together. And you know what? Again, this week I realized when you're good friends, you don't need to see each other every day. I mean, we've been friends for 24 years. See each other now and again, but when we do, it was like yesterday. So I had a really great time having them here. So very excited. Thanks.
Amazing. No, so like one of the themes that's coming up, and it's definitely, and I want to sort of touch your insights from this. And I know we're going to be chatting to someone who is in a leadership position currently and needing to inspire and motivate. Do you find that a lot of people are struggling at the moment with mental well-being, just like I'm not okay, like a lot of people are, I mean, never mind COVID, never mind the fact that the economy is struggling. Are you also picking that up as a big theme for people, that like I'm just not doing okay?
It is definitely a big thing. There's an increase in all sorts of things coming up with people that's being classified bipolar, depression, people being retrenched that's really going through a hard time, people who lost people within COVID. I'm fortunate to have a future daughter-in-law that's in the psychology sphere and in the business. I saw her last night and she was talking about how busy they are with regards to people seeing them because of challenges in the world right now. So I think definitely it's a process right now, that it's quite a big thing, I think.
And who we are chatting today to is one of the regional sales managers from Coca Cola, and he's also been on some interesting programs from the LMI, and it's going to be nice to chat to him and get his insights and inroads from how that's happening in his world. Romeo, thank you for joining us. Romeo Langenhoven, how are you?
Hello,
I am very
Romeo.
well, thank you. Yourself? Hi, Naomi.
Hey. So Romeo
Thank you
and
for
I,
making the time.
yeah, Romeo
Sorry,
and I
yes.
come a long way. I mean, we started when he was still a sales manager, just a youngster. I think before he even had children, we met.
Yes,
How old is
yes,
your daughter now? I mean, I think she was just born. Yeah.
yeah. She's turning 5 on the 1st of December, and she's growing too
Yeah,
fast, really.
yeah. So I met Romeo, and he was a sales manager, I think, in Paul at that stage.
Yes,
Obviously, very interested in leadership and the way he takes to market from a leadership perspective. So today, Romeo, I want just to tell the audience where you're from, who's Romeo, how did you get where you are today, what's your passion, what's your legacy? Just talk to us about leadership in general, because I know it's a huge passion of yours. Can we give you the floor and you can talk to us?
okay, how much time do you have for me?
You can talk. When you talk too much, I'll cut you off. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I'll just give you a bit of my history. I started in 1997 at Penbev as a truck helper. Was appointed permanent. The year after that, I became a driver salesman in our special events department. That's in 1998. Then I've been a driver salesman for 7 years. In 2003, I moved into our sales department as a general trade sales rep. I did that for 2 years, really loved every bit of it. In 2005, I moved into our supermarkets team. So I call it 2006. And then in 2008, I got promoted to sales manager in Paul. And through my journey at Penbev, I've never stagnated. I've always grown. I've started studying part time in 2003, but really where things really became a lot of where my development started was in 2015 when my journey with Naomi started. So we did this thing where we had to put up our vision board. I was actually sitting with someone earlier in the year, actually showing them my 2015 vision board and what it looked like, what were the things that were up there. So the one thing that was up there was my baby's room, because she was going to be born 2015, 1st of December. So months before that, with our journey, Naomi, I started, getting the room ready. What paint I'm going to use. I had that on my vision board, how it's going to look. And believe you me, the room looked as on that thing. Then I also had on there, I want to do my postgrad diploma in leadership. I had on there, we want to do a trip to New Zealand. So I enrolled in 2015. They accepted me to start in 2016, but you know what? I couldn't go because 1st December my baby was born, my first child. So I didn't really look forward to go and study for a year because I've got my baby now. I really want to spend some time with her. So I put that on the back burner, postponed it with a year, but it was still on my vision board. PGDL, postgrad diploma in leadership, that really spoke to me. And then 2017, I got accepted again and I did it. And I went on this 2017 journey. And I think in 2017, Naomi, we did our EPL as well. That same year, the one thing that was on my bucket list on my vision board, we went to New Zealand on a family trip. My daughter was not even 2 years old and she was, going to New Zealand for her first flight. 2019, we went again. So I've got this, my screensaver is basically my vision board and I'm still continuing with it. So I remember the bucket list that I put on myself for my master dream list. I had audacious dreams and all of them were ticked off and I still continue with it. I mean, we're doing the refresher course now with Naomi and I'm still continuing with. So in 2017, when I was done, I decided I want to do a master's. And I put up on my vision board, I want to do first thing I put up, I want to do a master's in coaching. But when I went through what was being offered, I said to myself, this doesn't speak to me. I've also enrolled for another master's program somewhere else at another institute. They accepted me and I said, that didn't speak to me. Enrolled in 2018 to do my MBA in 2019. Again, 2018 come, I didn't click apply. I thought to myself, nah, I just need more time because then I moved to Athlone as well. Coming from PAL, very, very successful team. While on my journey, 2015 started with LMI. I had my team in PAL with me and we started together in 2008 and really with putting things down, putting our plans, write it down. It had a huge impact on what we wanted to achieve. Sometimes the guy said, look, you're driving us too hard. But when everything was implemented in terms of the KPIs that we needed to achieve, and they saw the benefit of actually applying this methodology, they really loved. They were leaps and bounds ahead of other people, in the same place. So 2017 came, I applied, I've done my PGDL and I passed. And then this MBA thing was on my vision board forever and a day. 2018, I said, no, I can't click apply. Last year, I did MBA Essentials. Went through the process. It was lovely. I enjoyed it. October 2019, I decided, okay, now I'm clicking apply. The form was filled in already, applied. And I'm currently doing my MBA. It's a two-year course. And I'm loving every moment. What is really staring me down in the face now is the amount of assignments that still needs to be completed. We have tests that's coming up in November. But what I do is I write down everything like we were taught in our, EPL. You write everything down and I set goals for myself and I stick to it. I'm very hard on myself in terms of the goals that I set for myself. And that has really kept me honest during the year. It has helped me to progress in what I want to achieve. Nice. So I know that, by this due date, I want to finish this assignment. I want to spend time on weekends, with my family, still maintain the wheel of life, the balance. And then I still need to do work as well and make sure that my team perform on all cylinders. So yes, writing everything down, putting your dreams and your vision board in front of you. So the next country we want to go visit is Greece, and that is on my vision board. We actually went to New Zealand last year for the second time to go visit my friends. So yes, the vision board, it helped me a lot. And I think if I didn't have my vision board in front of me on a daily basis, it really draws you in. Because yes, you might forget and put some things, in the back of your mind. You don't want to recall it, but your vision board reminds you. Remember, you made a commitment to yourself that this is what you want to achieve. And yes, all through my journey, it was just exciting times and really looking at all the different vision boards and how it has evolved from the first one where we still had to do the cot, where we had to buy the cot, redo the baby room, the nursery, and then moving on towards wanting to buy a house in 2017 because we wanted to move out of where we lived. So after our trip to New Zealand in 2017, I think when we came back after our trip, the same day we basically, the estate agent called us We went on there, and the picture of our house was on my vision board. We went into this house with the estate agent, and we got into the house, and I was sold. I told my wife, this is our house, and she was stressed before we went to New Zealand. It's like, I'm not really, there's no urgency in me to actually get it. We got back from New Zealand. First house we went to go look at, I said, this is the house for us. And I mean, we bought the house and we're living there for 3 years now. So it works. It just does that thing to you that, you know what, even though I forget what I wanted to do, but my vision board is continuously reminding me of what I want to achieve and what I want to do. And
Yeah.
then basically have a plan for what you want to achieve as a family, and that helped me a lot with our planned holidays. Yes, I love the impromptu holidays. Phoning my wife on a breakaway, phoning her on a Friday and say, "Listen, here, I've booked a weekend away. Let's go." That I love. But you know, the big things that we want to do, we plan and we put it down and we say, "This is our objective." Like my wife really wants to go to Greece, and it's on my vision board. So our next trip is definitely there.
Nice, wonderful. Romeo, now during COVID and that, let's talk about leadership through COVID. How did that change for you being a leader through this COVID process? What was the
It was.
biggest challenge for you? I would think that's the question I'd like to ask.
Yes, it was challenging. So the biggest thing for me when the president spoke about lockdown, the biggest thing for me was when they made the announcement that we are essential services. I thought to myself, wow, with this hanging over us, what am I going to do now? So really, as a leader, you need to say, now we need to be at the forefront. We need to be the people that is actually going to make a difference. Even if we just show up, we're there in support of the team members. So what we did and made a decision in our at our business unit that, look, we're gonna be here on a daily basis. We immediately made decisions to all our reps was allowed to work from home. Managers, they still had to come in. Reason why we did it, managers, yes, they can do their work from home, but we had such a lot of team members that had to still go to customers, deliver our product. Drivers had to go out, truck helpers had to go out. So we were there at the office because we were not allowed to engage with customers, go into their space, but we were there in support of those team members that still had to go out and face all this. So we had to make sure that we um, put in protocols in place. We had to make sure that the team members has got the right PPE to give them peace of mind. Because I know in the beginning, the guys, they said they wanted gloves because they didn't want to touch anything. We made sure that we source sanitizer for the guys. So you just in that space of, you need to make sure that your team member is okay to do what they need to do. And we made a decision that everybody that can work from home. And unfortunately, those people that couldn't, they were not able to work from home, but they were able to do their work by applying the protocols that we put in place. And you can never over communicate, especially when you deal with change. So there were days the team members will come in and you can see they're out of their mind. They're not really in homeostasis. So you need to have a sit down, explain to them why certain things need to be done a certain way. For example, merchandisers, they came in and they asked, so why, Romeo, do we need to work, go into trade, but the reps, the account developers, they're not working from home? So we have to have a sit down and explain to them, based on what you need to do in your role, your function.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, cannot be done from home, but we got to do everything in our power to make sure that you okay. So what we did was, during the week, merchandise was allowed to go home with the cars. On a Friday, they will park it, so they don't need to communicate via public transport, etc.
Oh, wow.
So we
Yeah.
provided them that. What we also did was, I explained to them, the benefits of, not the benefits, but I explained to them why we allowed reps and account developers to work from home, and how it is impossible for them to actually do the same. So yeah, there was many things that we need to put in place, but I think on a daily basis there were different things that we had to look at. We also need to comply with regulations put in place
Yeah.
by the government. So compliance was really needed in that space. So yeah, it was a continuous discussion with everyone.
So Kevin's just asked me, just before you came in, he asked me if I think that people are taking strain mentally in our country right now. Now, I know for a fact that Coca Cola Penbev never lost any staff members with retrenchment or letting people go or any of that stuff. So every single person that worked for you guys before COVID still working with you right now. In saying that,
Yes.
How is the mental state of the staff, in your opinion, right now?
So for me, I think the guys they've came out of this when lockdown was lifted and we were on a level 1. So it was expected that our team members, all the reps, account developers, but before that, had to start going into trade. So now everyone was different. Some people can go through this change management very quickly. Others takes their time. So they call it they in the box. So it was important for us as leaders to go with him. So our stance that we took was we basically went with the team, so each manager would then go out with the team members and then just be there in support, so that they can see, but you know what, if my leader can do this, I can certainly
Wow.
continue and do this. And we had to sit down with the guys, remind them of, you know what, we actually privileged that during lockdown, none of us lost our jobs. We still got our full salary. So there were so many people around us. We saw it on a daily basis. Their businesses closed down. I know of a spa and a OK that had to close down because they couldn't um, make it through the lockdown period. So there was continuous discussions. We've got weekly safety meetings that we address these type of issues, specifically speaking about our protocols around COVID-19 and during this lockdown period. Yes, we do it online, but most of our team members are logged into it. And in our meetings, we started with safety so that, you know, this is just on top of mind so that people can see that we basically truly care. But it is all about we had to show up, we had to be there. I know initially when it started, we did the scanning ourselves as leaders. We made sure that, you know, we don't allow anybody that shows symptoms. And what the business also did and put in place was as soon as somebody's got symptoms, they were isolated, they were sent for tests just to ensure that, you know, everyone at the plant was safe. Just thinking about now, one day we received a message that one of our drivers, his wife, her test results came back and she was positive. We immediately called the driver. He was still on his way to go and deliver to a customer. We called him. He had to turn around. We explained to him what happened when he got to the plant, and we sent him home so that he can isolate himself because we didn't want to put anybody in public or at work at risk. So yeah, there's many other examples that I can actually
Yeah.
recall, but that is the type of thing that we did to ensure the safety of everyone that we connect with on a daily basis.
Nice.
So Romeo, uh, from just listening on everything you're talking about, it's there. You know, there's so much that you do, but as leadership as a concept, you know, you mentioned vision, you mentioned having a plan. I mean, I know from my own personal experience how important a vision board is. And, you know, I think a lot of people still kind of have that kind of skewed look at that. Do you think it's part and parcel of being a leader in the world today, that's not only should you have this vision that you hold and that you drive, but also that you're actively involved with that process, and that it's sort of it shows up in how you show up as a leader within your environment?
Yes, I would agree with you. You cannot sit in your office and think that things are going to happen. We've got this Japanese saying, you need to go to the gemba to understand what your team is going through. Go to the place of where it actually happens. So for us, it was important to actually go to our team members in the trade where they feel uncertain, where they feel that they are vulnerable, and go there and show to them, listen here, I am willing to walk this with you. If you need my support, I'm here in support. I'm not here to judge. I'm not here to criticize your work, but I am here to support you, to ensure that, you know, you in a comfortable space. And we listen to our people. We ask them the questions. We allow them to speak up. So if they're frustrated and they can't deal with certain things, you know, we understand. And sometimes we make choices on their behalf. Can I give you an example why we need to do it? So this one day, one of our ladies reps, he was basically in a crossfire in Kailitsa. And what happened there is some people actually came to rob the cigarette vehicle, and there was gunshots fired, and she was inside the shop. And we had to make a decision on her behalf and say, listen here, for a few days, you don't need to come to work until such time that you feel okay. Also, the one gentleman, he got robbed in the area that he services. He didn't want to stay at home. He said, no, the team needs me. I said, no, we need you to be okay. We made a choice on his behalf and say, you need to stay at home for 2 days. You need to go for a counseling session, and then you can come back. So yes, leadership is exciting. Working with people is exciting. I'm a people's person, and I would go out of my way for my people. However, I also have a responsibility towards the company, and I also need to make sure that they deliver their best results. So yes, for me to be effective in what I love doing, and that is to add value in people's lives, we should also deliver on the deliverables from the company side, and I need to hold myself accountable and the team for what we are responsible for.
What makes someone a good leader, Romeo?
A multitude of things, a multitude of things. And if I sit now and I think of what is the best thing that I can do for my people, and it comes down to I need to listen to them, and then I also need to show them how things are being done. Um, Sometimes you go into a new space, especially when I came to Athlone, you think that, you know what, I've got seasoned sales managers, that can, perform. I don't need to stand up behind them. But what you realize is, you know what, they've been exposed to different leadership styles. I've got a total different view on what leadership entails. So I need to, walk this journey with them. So one example is we had to go as a collective, as a management trade team, because we had a bit of challenges in our execution. From where I came from, execution wasn't a problem. We didn't even talk about execution. So now coming to Athlone, I had to go back to like 5 years ago. It's like, it's frustrating. Why must I do this? It's people that has been in the system for a while, but you know what? As a leader, it is important to actually understand where your people are and what do I need to support them. So we went into the trade collectively as a management team. So every Thursday we went into the trade collectively. That was our trade visit day. But what we did was we went in there, understood what it is the rep needs to do as a leadership team, and then also did what they had to do. And then immediately when we did it, the manager saw, you know what? Just an example, the one store we went into, we did the read for the red reading. The score, previous month's score was about 60%, and our standard is at 76%. After we went in, we came out of the store, we got a score of 82%. By fixing small things and have better understanding, have the context around it. So as leaders, it was important for us to understand it before we can expect our team to perform on that level.
What makes you a great leader? Give me one thing that you do different to other leaders.
I love my people, and I take time to mentor and coach them. And yes, I can remember when I first wrote down my mission. It was such a long paragraph, but it all boils down to adding value to others, and that ultimately is my mission in life, to add value to others, irrespective of how I do it. For some, it would be I have official sessions where we do mentoring and coaching sessions, and we can track the progress of that person. And I'm open to all the team members, but I also tell them, um, it is now the ball is in your court. You need to get onto my calendar, my diary. You need to say that you want to spend time with me, and I'm willing to mentor and coach you. So yes, I'm a people's person, and mentoring and coaching is the thing that makes me a great leader.
So if you're gonna leave new leaders, young leaders, upcoming leaders, 5 tips on what to do to be a great leader, what would you say to them?
So yes, you really need to love your people. You need to be there for them. You need to be willing to work, walk a mile in their shoes. In their shoes, you need to have a mission. You need to have a vision. So your vision, will change. It is interchangeable. It's not going to remain the same. There's going to be continuous changes. But what it does, it is going to drive you towards your goals. Have goals for yourself. Write it down, and be a big dreamer. Don't ever stop dreaming, because sometimes the older we get, we forget about all the dreams that we had for ourselves. Now is the time that we should actually have audacious dreams, stuff that we think that we will never achieve in life. That's the type of dreams that we need to have, and write them down, because by writing them down, you're making a commitment to yourself and put an end date to when you want to achieve your dreams. So that's my tips to people that wants to embark on being leaders.
Fantastic. Yeah, that's awesome.
Thank you. Romeo, I listened to you, and I want to emphasize what you're saying and support in what you're saying, because I think, and my brother might listen to this, but I remember my brother always saying to me, "Get your head out of the clouds. Stop dreaming so big. Like what the hell's wrong with you?" And invariably, I always just wanted to dream. I just like, I want to do this. And I was always kind of suppressed in a way, you know, in my upbringing. But the fact that you emphasize that, I think it's such a beautiful, beautiful thing to share. And so many people need, you know, they need to be able to dream and put that date there and take the action and make it happen. And I think that's what's beautiful about the LMI, right? And maybe that's what you can end off with confirming for us here, Romeo, is, you know, the LMI is a structured program. The programs we go through have a lot of content. They have a lot of structure. They have a lot of assessment. And it really guides this point for what are those next steps? Where do we go from here? How do we measure how we're doing? But also, how do we dream? How do we dream big?
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
Yes, yes, I do. And you know what? The first time I did my vision board, and when you get into the class, you think to yourself, you know what? These are a lot of things that I'm actually doing, man. I'm applying this stuff in my life. But once you really go through the process of listening to your sessions, and you basically start applying it, and when you start writing in your folder, you know what? And you start ticking off as you achieve the goals, the smaller ones, and the more the more you achieve, the bigger your goals become. And then sometimes you just put stuff on your vision board and you write down in your dream list that you know what, this is something that is going to take some hard work, and then you achieve it, you know, within months or within a year, or like in 3 years before you actually planned on achieving it. I can remember in my year 2017, I was while doing my postgraduate diploma in leadership, we also had to put together a development plan, you know, which was in line with what I was taught during my LMI sessions. And it was so powerful because I could use some of the examples there already, and I've set objectives, even 2-year objectives that I've set for myself. And when I was done with a year, I basically, even the 2-year objectives I've achieved because I wrote them down and I had this mental picture of how it looks like. And you know what? It is really powerful to write your dreams down, have a development plan for yourself, and set audacious goals. And writing it down for me was, I think that was key, because sometimes in your mind things plays over, but you just forget about it. But when it's written down there and you go back to your file and you see all the stuff that you achieved, you can look back and say, wow, this is amazing. So now what we're doing now is we put in weekly planners. So each manager will then on a weekly basis say, this is my plan for the week. Next week, they will basically just go through it and say, okay, I've achieved X, Y, and Z. So similar principle, just writing it down and, you know, be deliberate about what you want to achieve. You know, it just makes a huge difference in what you actually achieve at the end of the day.
So those 7-day goals that we get when we do EPL.
Yes, yes, yes.
You actually touched on something that made me think of someone, and something that came up once about people that did MBA, that after MBA that was exposed, they then get exposed to LMI. And the guy said to me, it was a lady that said to me, I did MBA because I wanted to know how to do business. But that never taught me why I would do it. And when I got exposed to you, it helped me understand why I would use my MBA and why I would do things in business. So, you know, for me, that was very interesting to know. And I think you just confirmed that with me now again. You know, I can chat to him for you. So
We don't have a lot of time, and you know our shows are not very long. But we want to thank you for taking the time, joining us all the way from Athlone, Cape Town. It's a regional sales manager of Coca Cola, Romeo Langenhoven. Thank you for spending some time with us and sharing some wonderful stories.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Romeo. On short notice, you actually
Romeo.
stood in for Dan, so we'll get Dan a different day. So thank you for being with us. You are an amazing leader. I can vouch for that. I can say that out publicly. I've got some of your staff members on training with me now, and I absolutely love having them there, and they love working for you. So you're doing something right. Well done, my friend.
Fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Romeo, have a wonderful day. Cheers.
You too. Thanks so much.
Bye. Amazing. Like, you know, you listen to, and you can see he's such a storyteller. I love the fact that he gets so involved and he's so part of creating that session, or creating those moments, at least for his people.
Yeah, and he's a great leader. You know, I mean, I got exposed to him in 2015 when he was a youngster, and he's ready, and you watch them grow. You know, and I've been fortunate to work with Coca Cola now for 8 years, so I've seen them come through the ranks as junior people coming in through, and every time one of them get promoted, I would say, oh, that's LMI. We actually had some role to play in that, so which is really nice to see these oaks really develop. And he was one of those. So I really enjoy working with him.
Yeah, and just bringing it back to where we started this conversation around mental health. I think that's probably key. Showing up as a leader in today's world. I just need someone to, largely, I just need someone to pay attention. I just need someone to actually kind of make the time and go, yeah, I need someone to talk to, because I don't have all the answers, and I have the fear of whatever that is. And I think if more leaders in the world showed up like Romeo does, I think dealing with mental health, how we're doing currently, and where the next 6 to 12 months kind of lead our lives and our country and the world, will probably be a far better, easier place to live in if we just had someone who took some time and invested themselves.
Yeah, you just brought home that whole thing is as a leader, you don't tell people what to do, you show them what to do. Talking about holding their hands, being out there with them, going to the face of the problem that everybody no one wanted to go. Their staff had to go. They were there. The leaders were there. That to me, that's impressive. That's what it's all about.
Absolutely, yes.
So yeah.
Naomi, thank you so much for chatting, and thank you for sharing wonderful insights and the work you're doing with Coca Cola. It's amazing,
It's an amazing
and it's
company.
not the first time we've heard. Like you hear these people going like, wow, and the things they've achieved and the things that they're doing in the world. Then the fact that they've kept everyone employed through this time, that speaks to a large degree of what the leadership looks like and how they're actually doing.
And I think Kevin also, you'll see a lot of the Coca-Cola people come through because I have a big history with them, and I have a lot of success stories there. And when I put out this thing to say who wants to be on our show, there was a lot of yes, please, we want to come share our stories, and I'd like people to share their stories, and therefore we give as many people as possible opportunity. But the thing with them is that we've trained from directorship all the way down to merchandising. So it's not a train my people, they the problem. It's let's get it done from the top right to the bottom. And I think that's the difference within businesses. So anybody who's thinking of using LMI processes and methodology, it starts at the top. And you can't change what you're doing in a business if you think the change only happens with management or workers at a certain level. It starts with you as the leader as well,
And you could hear it from his conversation. Like he mentioned his vision board so many times. It's kind of like, what is the vision? Like if you're the leader of that moment, of that world, of that company, what is your vision, and how do you showcase that?
Yeah.
And if you're not actively cultivating that as the narrative of that environment, why the hell will anyone else have a vision with you? Like, it wouldn't happen. So yeah, absolutely. Leaders, it starts with them. It starts with leadership.
And for me, still, every single person that finishes up a training course with me does a vision board, and it's a cut, paste, stick it, lick it. It's not a presentation. It's not an electronic thing. I go find the picture, cut it out, stick it down, show me what you've done. So there's something mentally that happens in your brain, allowing your creative mind to actually form these things. So for me, that's a non-negotiable at the end of the day. Absolutely love that.
Where does anyone, if anyone's listening right now, we obviously want to tell people where to get hold of us. Where do they go, Naomi? Please tell us where they can get hold of us.
LMI website, South Africa, is www.lmi-smi.co.za. For me, you can find me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, probably everywhere.
All
As
of those social media.
Naomi Basson is Coach by Design. We're there anyway.
And yes, I see that I'm logged into my colleague's profile here, so I'm not doing. I've noticed that the whole time. I was like, oh goodness, they think I'm weird. Kevin Britt's anywhere on Google, and also Naomi's Coach by Design. I'm Business by Design. So we want to be able to help you design who you are in the world and give you those tools. So, and we have so many tools to share.
Sure.
So please hit us up, guys, find us, and all the information obviously is going to be in the description box below. Thank you for joining us, and I will see you next week on Lunchtime Leadership. Thanks, Naomi.
See you next week. Take care. Bye.
Ciao.